Hi everybody, welcome to the channel, welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome to if you're new. My mic is gonna be in the frame, so I'm sorry about that. Let's do some makeup, y'all. I recently went through all my makeup and organized. If you follow me on TikTok, I showed off my whole collection, which is actually not a lot, but that's okay. I don't need a lot to enjoy makeup. So, what should we do today? I don't know. But let's just have some fun with it. We're gonna start. Let's go ahead and just start, and maybe I'll just talk about makeup, or maybe I'll figure out a different topic to chit chat about. I look stupid. Okay. How has everyone been doing recently? I've been doing okay. Enough. Actually, you know what? This is something that I wanted to talk about before, so now seems like a good opportunity to do so. My cat, one of my best friends, and the cat that's been with me through some other big changes in my life, recently passed away. And it is a particularly hard thing for me to talk about and to navigate. It just makes me really upset. So I'm not going to get into that part a ton. I'm mainly going to talk about the other thing. But recently my cat passed away, who I love dearly, and who moved off to college with me when I first went and kept me company there, and then moved to a different town with me and my mom, obviously. And he was there with me when my stepdad passed away, and the way that it happened and how it all went down was really, really hard for me. It's obviously, loss is hard for everyone, so I'm not comparing my situation to anyone's. I want to get that out of the way, that I wouldn't wish that feeling upon anyone. But it feels important to just have this conversation, because as screwed up as it sounds to say, I've had a harder time navigating the death of my cat than I have the death of my stepdad. You know what I mean? And again, I realize that it sounds super screwed up when I say it, because I loved my stepdad, and it fills me with a lot of negative feelings that he's gone, but mainly just like the way that it happened, which I will get into as well. It was mainly just like the whole situation, the whole thing of like how it's been like dragged out and everything like that. We can't, move on because things are still being dragged out. So both were like very shocking, very harrowing moments, and my stepdad passing has changed everything, really. So let's just start from the beginning. So that was kind of like the prologue, or like a general explanation or exposition for the story. But let's start from the beginning. So August of 2023, I moved to Kettering, Ohio, from where I live in Indiana. So not super far, but far enough that it was hard to adjust on my own. And to move there my mom and my stepdad obviously helped me move. And I had gotten my cat Pickles in July because I had gotten him with the intention of bringing him to college with me, to have like a companion in college and, you know, just a reason to kind of get out of bed each day and do stuff and keep me motivated. So anyway, ooh, that was a lot. Okay. It's a really like weird shade on me, but we're gonna try to blend it. So my stepdad and my mom helped me move to college, and that was the last time that I ever saw him. We were never super close, but we kind of were starting to reach a point where we could get along better, we could coexist a little bit better, and things were kind of starting to move in a positive direction in our relationship. So, cut to my first week of school. A few days after I moved in, well, about a week after I moved in, and a few days after, like, we got my cat in and settled as well. I start school and it starts out perfectly fine. And then I want to say third day, maybe, was actually like nighttime in the middle of the week. And I get a phone call. Well, I call my mom at like 9 or something p.m. to talk to her because we hadn't talked at all that day, and I had been like calling her to chat just about how things were going. So I had been like calling her like every day. So I realized that I hadn't called her that day and she hadn't called me. So I call her and she's like, he hasn't answered our texts or our calls. We're looking for him. I'll call you back later. And I was like panicking, obviously, because that's a crazy thing to be told, that someone isn't responding to like messages or calls or anything like that. So I was already panicking, and bless my roommates, because we're not friends anymore, we don't talk, but I will always value how supportive they were because I was like bawling just because of like the anxiety of it all. I was having a panic attack, and then I eventually go to sleep with the help of my roommate who was trying to help me calm down. And then a few hours later, I am woken up to a phone call from my sister, who basically, I don't remember what she said. I was kind of in a weird state, but she basically informed me that he was gone. And mind you, I'm 2.5 hours, nearly 3 hours away. I don't know what exactly is going on. All I know is what I've been told. And she had to get off the phone and go do some other things. She also had to call my brother and tell him and everything like that. So then I was kind of like left to deal with whatever that meant for me. And again, shout out to my roommates at the time, because they were so lovely, and one of them helped calm me down the first time when I was having a panic attack about it, and then the other one helped calm me down once I actually was informed of what happened. And I could not thank them enough for that, because I mean, I was definitely freaking out, obviously, as you would, and honestly, as you should, maybe. But what was like really hard about it all is that I was so far away, and I also had class the next day, so it was like nearing like the middle of the night, and I had to just go to sleep and then go to class the next day. And I'm always reminded when I bring this up that I didn't have to go to class the next day, but like, what was I supposed to do? Like, I didn't even know what was going on. I wasn't being informed of anything, but I later found out that my mom wasn't being informed of anything either. Like, she was the last person to be told that he was dead, after like his entire family, when she was literally the one who was married to him and like should have been the first point of contact for whoever it was, but that wasn't the case. She was like, our family, me and my siblings, and then like our family was the literal last people to be informed of the situation, and choices were already being made before my mom could even process anything. Like, everyone was kind of making decisions without her telling what was going to happen and what the next steps were, without, giving her a chance to be involved. And she was in a state of panic, and she was in shock, and she didn't really comprehend all that was going on either. And instead of things moving a little bit slower that first night, and then the first day, and everything like that, so much happened. So much was like decided without her knowledge, without her input. She had to, view the body and confirm and everything like that. And I didn't really know a ton of what was going on at the time. Again, I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, which was going to school, and, I told one of the staff members there, one of the faculty, who I'd really trusted about what was going on. And again, this was my first week of school. I ended up dropping out in November of that year. So I was in class from the last week of August to like the beginning of November. And I was doing my best, which was not great, if I'm being completely honest with you. And people were very nice about it, but it was very rough, obviously. Overall, I have a lot of mixed feelings. That wasn't the end of the story. We're not even close to the end of the tale, but I still got a little bit more makeup to do. Don't worry, I'm not done. But trust me, that was a lot. Because currently, my mom and I are best friends. We're like the closest we've been since I was a little kid. And again, as screwed up as it is, I don't know if that would have happened. It's definitely not as quickly if it weren't for him passing away. Of course, it's a horrible thing that happened that shouldn't have happened. And I can tell you guys a little bit more information about what happened if you're interested. And yes, it sucks. Yes, it's horrible. Yes, it's something that definitely should have never happened. But my mom and I are the closest we've ever been. We're struggling a lot financially, which is not one of the pluses. So don't make it weird. I'm just stating things, The first time I had to drive from Ohio back to where we live was to go to the viewing for his body, which is basically, we didn't have a traditional funeral for him, so just like some of the family came to the viewing and said goodbye and cried and everything like that. So the first time I drove home was to go do that, and it was really hard, as you can probably guess. And driving itself was kind of rough. For a while, my siblings still have a really hard time driving or being in vehicles because of what happened, and I totally understand. For me, I honestly didn't have much of a choice because I had to get home. I had to drive home and I had to go back, which was, I was going like back and forth a lot after that because my mom was here by herself and I obviously felt bad. I think only like one time I left my cat there with my roommates and he was fine, obviously. But I think after that I started bringing him with me everywhere. I think I'm done. Let me do some spray and then I should be done actually. I want to do... So this video was like a general kind of like story of what happened. I want to do a video kind of delving into the world of grief and what it means and how obviously it's different for everyone, but you know what my experience with grief has been with all of the loss that I've experienced. So stay tuned for that at some point. It might be another makeup video where I'm just talking about my experience, or it might be a normal no makeup just talking video, or it might have some experiences from some other people in there as well, just a general like grief and how it feels and what it is and how it affects all of us type of discussion. So, all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope this didn't bum you out too much. I'm clearly alive and I'm clearly okay, kind of. All things considered, I suppose. This was just kind of like an introduction into my experience, you know what I mean? So yeah, keep a lookout for that. Follow me on all of my socials. If you want a little bit of a happier content, I have several of other videos and I also have a TikTok, so if you're interested in any of that, go follow there. I know this stuff is kind of hard to talk about, but it's important to talk about as it's something that the majority of us or all of us struggle with at some point in our lives. And having an open, honest discussion about it is the best possible way to help people through their struggles. So, again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will catch you in the next one. It'll be sad too. If it's me talking, probably it'll be sad. But it's important. And I promise I'll make a happier one at some point. Bye!